Welcome back, boys. This is a recap of Season 2, Episode 8 of Franklin and Bash on TNT's Franklin and Bash. I'll be your host, Evan Harris, along with my counterpart, Jake Simperman.
All right, so we made it to Episode 2. It could end at any second, but if you've been watching, thanks. Hope we didn't bore you to death. We're going to try to shorten up these episodes, mostly because it took like 13 hours to upload to YouTube. I don't really feel like begging to subscribe, but I will say if we get 50 subscribers, Hendo will come on the show.
Naked.
Do it. and if you don't know who that is, it's even more of an incentive. If we get 100 subscribers, which will never happen, we'll bring a girl on the show.
Appreciate it.
Which would be insane because I haven't talked to a girl in months. And then if we get 6,900 subscribers, Evan promised to get Jose Canseco.
That's the only thing I'm on this show for, is eventually Jose Canseco is going to show up.
So
Worth it.
So, we're going to do our NHL preview later, but of course, before we get to that, we got our Hamms. Six-pack of quick questions for Evan Harris. Don't forget Hamms, born in the land of the sky blue waters. Question number 1. Evan, did you see Katy Perry on College Game Day? She was awesome.
I did not see Katy Perry on College Game Day. I did see the Deadspin video of her chugging beers at some bar and kind of toppling over. So I gained some serious respect for Katy Perry. I just saw today she's going to be the halftime show at the Super Bowl.
Huge week for Katy Perry. Not a fan of her music personally, but she was throwing corn dogs at the cameras on College Game Day.
That's hard.
And then she crowd surfed at a bar, a Mississippi bar.
Yep.
Really a lot of respect points there. Number 2, did you get to see Gone Girl?
I didn't. This sucks, and I'm not going to be able to answer any questions. I haven't seen it. I was planning on seeing it tonight, but we'll see.
It was awesome. They do. I don't want to give anything away because it's pretty new into theaters, but they adapt the book perfectly. And given the book's not very long, great job. Oh, and Trent Reznor does the soundtrack.
Ooh.
So yeah, he kicks ass too. Dude, number 3, can you show us your tattoo?
Oh fuck. Yeah, I wasn't really planning on doing that on air. Sure, yeah, I'd love to. Let's get a decent view.
Put some background on this and tell us how much you cried.
I cried more than expected. This is mirrored and this is weird. It still hurts. It hurts like a bitch. It's a fleur-de-lis with like stained glass. I got it because I've never had any like religious affiliation or anything, but I've always liked the look of stained glass, and my family is from Montreal, so French Canadian fleur-de-lis felt like the way to go. I did not cry. It hurt a lot more than I expected. I'll say that. Usually I have a high pain tolerance, but like for like little like wussy stuff that throws me off. And this was one of them. It was after a while it didn't hurt, so you numb up and it's fine.
Beautiful, and I'm sure you cried even though you say you didn't. Number 4, dude, it's the season of pumpkin beer. What's your favorite?
Jackie O's Barking Pumpkin.
Nice. Jackie O's.
We're going to stay with the Jackie O's train. Jackie O's, I had it last year, and fucking awesome. Or I think it was Jackie O's Pumpkin. I could be wrong now that I think of it.
But anything from Jackie O's is delicious. Ham's question number 5. How scared are you of getting Ebola?
I occasionally am in an area that'll put me in a situation of being looking right at human defecation, which I know is part of Ebola spreading. So other than that, I'm good with blood. I'm blood brothers with all the boys. So I'm not very scared, but I'll probably get it and pass it along to the boys. Blood brothers.
The perfect segue into our NHL season preview, even though we're 2 days late. So we one of the most prolific anthem singers in the NHL, Mark Donnelly, did a BCHL, a junior game in Vancouver, somewhere around that area, and skated during the anthem and subsequently tripped over, I guess the mat you would call it.
Yeah, the red carpet deal.
What do you think about that?
My uncle posted that video on, I think, Hendo's link of our last show, and I sat there and laughed, and had to watch it a few more times again because it's not an everyday thing to see some dude going around in a tuxedo skating, singing the national anthem. Of course, it was out Canada, so you got to give him props. He didn't get the French out; he did the regular English version, but you know. He took the fall in stride, tried to get back up, slipped a little bit, and kept on going. But I revved up the crowd and let the crowd sing the rest. And you got to give him a 6 out of 9, best effort.
So that about wraps up everyone's favorite segment. Thank you, Hamms, for bringing us that. Don't forget Hamms, 1 sip, guaranteed hangover. So we're going to segue right into what everyone came for, our NHL preview. And with us today, we are very blessed to have Hamms McLellan, NHL correspondent, to join us. Welcome, Hamms.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
So as you guys can probably guess, loyal viewers, we're huge hockey fans. So we brought in...
And if you don't like hockey, turn it off right now.
Turn it off now.
And then we're going to do a dad of the week later. So
yeah. Actually, stay tuned.
But... Hamms, why don't you just kick us off here? And, we just want to get your kind of quick, brief predictions for the season.
Sure. So, I don't know. After one night of watching a whole lot of hockey, can't say too much about my Hawks yet. That was a pretty pathetic first half of that game that they put out there. But, they know how to turn it on in the crucial time. So I'm staying confident. As far as finalist predictions go, I'm putting the Hawks in there, which I'm sure is a shock to both of you. I'm going to take the Hawks out of the West, and Jake, you can breathe easy. I'll have us beating the Kings in the Western Conference Finals, but that's probably going to be the matchup for the next 5 years to come. And then I'll take a healthy Wings team out of the East over any other team in the East. But then again, that healthy is put a big old asterisk by there because you know how good they are at staying healthy. But I'll take Hawks and a healthy Wings team, and I'll take the Hawks in 6.
Fair enough.
Quick question, we should probably, a lot of people watching from Columbus, what are your predictions for the BJs this year?
I had high hopes for the BJs. I mean, I have high hopes for the BJs coming in every year. Having shit seasons doesn't bother me because I'm a Cleveland fan. So I had high hopes for the BJs coming in. They look a little decimated right now. It's a little nerve-wracking to see all those boys on the injury list. I'm not going to pull any judgments too early in the season. I mean, last night was a good win for them. They seem to have their lines kind of coming together, but we got to get Joey in there and get him in shape. We got to get Boone back and Murray back, and once all these boys are on the ice at the same time, I think we'll be a playoff contender for sure.
Yeah. Well, thank you for the wonderful insight. Anything to add?
For me, or are you talking to him?
I'm talking to him, but you know what? If you got nothing else, I think you did a great job of summing it up. Ev, you want to take over and hit us with your predictions?
I'll go division winners to start. In the Atlantic, I think Boston will edge out Montreal. It's going to be the way it has been for the past 2 years, with Tampa Bay lurking in third. Metro, I've got Columbus over Pittsburgh. Columbus is going to win the Metro this year. That's my at least one of my bold predictions. I really think it'll happen. If somehow Horton can get healthy and stay healthy, which it's not looking good, but hey, youngsters are taking their part and stepping up. I mean, you got Scotty Hartnell, who I think is the oldest dude on the team, or if not the oldest, one of the oldest. Not
average 6.
I mean, I saw that the Jackets are the youngest team in the league. Right behind them was who they played last night, Buffalo, number 2 youngest team in the league. And I mean, there's plenty of room to grow. And the Jackets they've just kind of turned into their own brand of hockey this year. They're a whole bunch of, for the most part, skilled grinders out there, as well as young guys that can put on a show. Wenberg looked great last night. Dano looked good last night. Fucking Jack Skilly looked phenomenal last night. Jared Bull looked like a normal player. So if you can hold that up, I think Columbus wins the Metro. Central, I think that unfortunately for our man Hamms McLellan, I'm gonna go Dallas edging out Chicago, winning the
You are
Central.
out of your fucking mind.
Dallas is going to be good this year. Dallas with the additions of Hemsky, with Spezza. I mean, the only iffy deal is goaltending for them. At least in my opinion, you got Sagan, Jamie Benn. You get Dallas is going to be able to play, and they're going to make moves this year. I don't know if necessarily they're my pick to win the Central. I don't know if it's going to happen, but we'll go with that.
Did you catch any of that game last night between the Hawks and the Stars?
I caught the very end of it. In the very beginning, I caught the shootout in the very beginning, and I'd say Chicago looked iffy to start the game. Granted,
Stars came out flying. I'll tell you what, they looked like a different Stars team.
Exactly.
It's one of those, the Hawks are going to know when to turn it on in crucial situations.
Absolutely, and I think that's the main thing that could bite Dallas in the ass, if anything, is that they got really no experience. Pacific, I'm going to go San Jose. San Jose, this is the year. It's make or break time. If they don't show up, then it's going to be, I guess my opinion is Jesus, I'm going to forget his name now. What's his? Todd McLellan, his head coach, right? The dude who looks like a shark. he's going to get fired if they don't pull off at least a Stanley Cup run this year. I think it's over. Yeah, I know now. I was trying to. I was getting confused there.
He used to coach the Lumberjacks in Cleveland.
McLellan?
And whenever we used to go into the ticket box, we would always tell the people that we were related to Coach McLellan and get way better seats.
There you go. But I think this is San Jose's year. They had a big-time start last night with a 4-0 working the Kings. So banner time was kind of over, and it was time to get back to playing. They're obviously bitter. They can't show up in the playoffs. This year's a make-or-break year. I've got them playing well. And so finals prediction, I got San Jose over Boston at 6. It pains me to say that Boston will compete for a Stanley Cup, but they're always in the running. They're going to be prolific in any really physical category. They're going to be there. So I've got San Jose over Boston at 6.
And then the most important prediction, not a prediction, it's more of your opinion. Who's the best looking player in the league?
Best looking player in the league by far, this isn't a comparison, it's Erik Karlsson coming out with the C on his jersey this year. C stands for Quaff. You got a beautiful, beautiful boy out there playing in Ottawa. The Swede, just you'll have to pull up, and once we do some editing, the hair flip from Erik Karlsson. Great flow, great face. The dude can just go out there and play. He's an offensive defenseman, just one of the most fluid skaters out there. I didn't even mention, I'll go into, once we got into best looking man in the league, Erik Karlsson kind of throwing me off. Sleeper teams, as I said, Columbus and Dallas, I think are going to be two teams to definitely look out for. Bold predictions, as I said, Jackets I think are going to pull off the Metro. I think it really could happen. The other bold prediction I'll make is that I don't think Colorado's going to make the playoffs this year. I think it was a one hit deal for Patty Waugh behind the bench. You bring in a guy. I mean, you're going to lose Stastny, who I thought was the kind of cornerstone of their team. You bring in a guy I guess you get Jerome Iginla. Sure, Iginla's numbers I think were boosted playing in a really backed up Boston team. I don't think he's going to show up anywhere near he did last year. And I just don't think the goalies are going to have the year. I think it was a hot streak. So we'll see. But and then finally, penalty minutes later, I think that it'll be Antoine Roussel out of Dallas. Yeah. Dude's a fighting Frenchman. That guy, I'd be scared shitless to play against because one, he can actually play the game. He's not strictly out there as a goon, and the guy's not afraid to drop the mitts. If you watch any of his fights last year, the dude is just swinging. So there's the overall standpoint. But Simp and Cam, you guys have anything to add on to that, or?
I got a couple things to touch on. Right. I'm going to tell you right now, you're crazy for thinking that the Avs aren't making the playoffs. Yeah. I got my bold prediction for this year is that Nathan Mack, at the ripe old age of 19, is going to become a top 10 point scorer in the league.
Yeah, I can see that.
20. That kid is all hockey all the time, and you don't hear a single bad word come out about him from anyone who knows what they're talking about.
Agreed. I think Nathan McKinnon is a top tier player already, and I don't think that I'll argue any of that. I just don't think that they're. I mean, you get your defensemen like Eric Johnson that have never really turned out to be the player they're supposed to be. And
they're going to live and die on what happens after that first line. Because, I mean, Nathan Mack and Matt Duchene are going to make some West Coast defensemen look real stupid this year. But that second and third line can hold together. I think they're a surefire playoff team.
You got anything, Simp?
Yeah, I mean, if we're going to talk about the Avs, I think they'll make the playoffs. I'm interested to see one of my favorite players of all time, Jerome McGinley. I don't know how he fits in with that team because they are so fast, and I think he's 37 now, 36. So I want to see how he fits in there. But I do agree with you, Erik Karlsson is very good looking. And then I think I'll just get after some predictions here. I got the Penguins winning the Metro. Too much talent, and I don't know how far they'll end up going in the playoffs, but over 82 games, they'll have the most points in that division. Blue Jackets will probably end up in third, I'm thinking. In the Atlantic, I got Boston winning. Once again, as you touched on, this is a team that is deep. They just reload, and they have some young players like Torrey Krug, Dougie Hamilton that have really been proven themselves lately. They end up with that division. Out west in the Pacific, I got Anaheim taking the division over the Kings and the Sharks, mainly because, listen, the Kings start to buckle down when the playoffs roll around.
Absolutely.
And there's a lot of confusion and misdirection going on in San Jose, and I would be surprised if they honestly, I would be surprised if they came in second in that division. In probably the toughest division in the NHL, I got the Blues over the Blackhawks. The Blues are built a lot like the Kings. They're tough. They're deep. The question with them is going to be goaltending. They brought in Paul Stastny, another center. So they're kind of fitting that mold of a team that could go deep in the playoffs, and that's why I have them facing the Bruins in the finals. And I'll take the Bruins over them. But I think in the West, it really comes down to Chicago, LA, and St. Louis. Teams are all built similarly for big playoff runs, and I think this is the year that St. Louis sweeps through. Really, once again, it all comes down to goaltending with Brian Elliott and Jake Allen sort of waiting to take over there. As for a sleeper team, I think I'm going to actually go with the Capitals. They took a lot of criticism in the offseason for spending so much money on defensemen like Brooks Orpik and Matt Niskanen, formerly with the Penguins. But when you look at that team, they were in dire need of help on defense, so you can't blame them for going out and getting some solid defensive players. However, they did spend a lot of money. I think that's going to really help them. They brought in Barry Trotz as head coach. I think he's going to really help Braden Holtby and get him some more help in goal. And I think that's a team that makes the playoffs. And I think Ovechkin doesn't hit 50 goals this year, but I think he's a little more responsible defensively. I've been saying this for years, so who knows?
Yeah.
And then if there's a player to keep your eye on this year, it's Nail Yakupov out in Edmonton, who's flown under the radar for so long because he, quite frankly, hasn't done anything. But I think this is the year where he's either labeled as a bust or a successful pick. Remember, number 2012, number 1 overall pick, right in front of our friend of the show, Ryan Murray.
And in front of, I didn't even get into my pick, and I'll feed off of this right now. 2012 draft, it was, Nail, Ryan Murray, and then Alexander Galchenyuk. This year is a breakout year for Galchenyuk. I don't know if you saw any of the preseason games, and sorry to interrupt. Galchenyuk looks like a man, an absolute man this preseason. The guy never looks like he's going out to hit people. He's going out to hit people this year, and he's got the best hands on the team. So it'll be interesting. Go ahead. Sorry.
I don't think Yakupov's been in a great situation in Edmonton. I really don't know if he'll be the player that everyone expects him to be, but just a guy to keep your eye on because if he doesn't produce this year, and by produce I mean you're looking at 30 goals, maybe 60 points, something in that line, he'll be a bust, labeled a bust, and he probably won't be in Edmonton for long. As for that, most important category, best-looking guy in the NHL. I'm going to go with a guy north of the border on your very beloved Montreal Canadiens, Brandon Prust.
Oh, Prusty.
Punk.
His girlfriend's hot as hell, too. It's some Montreal news anchor, Mary Montpellier.
And I think he comes close to leading the league in penalty minutes, but I'm going to give it to a guy who most people haven't heard of, Rich Clune, Dickie Clune down in Nashville is a bad dude, and he's been scrapped 15 times this year. He'll end up near the top of that list along with Roussel and Brandon Russ. Anything else to add, guys? Any other predictions? Anything worth watching? I think I've touched on everything I wanted to.
I'm going to make a player to watch. It's a name that everyone's going to know, but I think you all need to keep your eye on Jimmy Howard this year. He had a really big letdown year last year, but I'll tell you right now, as a Hawks fan myself, I would trade Jimmy Howard straight up for Corey Crawford every day of the week, twice on Sundays. Yeah. I love the way Jimmy Howard plays goalie. I think, he's got the right mindset. I saw a lot of him up in that ESPN or the HBO series when they were following him around before the Winter Classic. So I think he's got the right supporting cast around him. Again, a lot of that comes down to the wings staying healthy. But I think Jimmy Howard plays goalie about as well as anyone in the league, maybe with the exclusion of Quickie over in LA. But I think Jimmy Howard is going to have a big bounce-back year and compete for a Vezina when it's all said and done. Wow. And then I guess if I was to pick a team to watch, maybe a sleeper team, I'm going to send the Isles to the playoffs as well. First appearance since, I think, the 06-07 season. Maybe one in between there. But I think they got a lot of young talent coming together. I think Tavares is going to step up to be another top 5 guy in the league. Pretty consistent. I like the moves that they're making on defense. They recognize the whole pickup, Boychuk and Leddy. So I think the Isles are a good 6 to 8 seed in the playoffs, and definitely someone to keep your eye on this year.
Sounds great. And I'll go with the Blue Jackets sneaking into the playoffs, but not a great start to the season as they have guys that you mentioned that are very hurt. Blue Jackets sneak in. Not their year to play in the conference finals, but they're on the right path. So I think that about wraps up our NHL segment. Now we're going to get into our final segment of the day, possibly the best segment ever. Dad of the Week. Evan, who's our Dad of the Week?
Without a doubt, it's Kyle Orton. Coming out there, I believe the stats were, we'll see if we'll pull it up again, it's 30 for 43, 308 yards up against they won 17-14 against Detroit. Kyle Orton comes out as I think he was originally either backup or third string. I forget when they signed him. It was late. But
what draws you?
I hope this is me.
Consumes you. There are places in this world we simply have to go.
I got an ad coming from ESPN. That was nice. But Kyle Orton, I'll give it full-on neckbeard and all. Bloody finger occasionally out when he was playing for Denver. Kyle Orton, Dad of the Week for sure. Coming in, just wrecking the league.
There you have it. That's your Dad of the Week. I don't think you can argue with that one. He's pretty much as dad as it gets in the NFL. Ed Fitzpatrick won tonight, or last night.
It's magic, baby.
Different. But maybe another week, Ryan. The beard, Amish rifle. So Kyle Orton takes our Dad of the Week. He will be receiving a Hamms t-shirt in the mail. I assume he lives by me, seeing as he plays for the Bills. So we'll get back to you on that. And I think that about wraps up episode 2 of EvTalks. Hopefully there's some of you guys still watching. It's been pretty long, but if you stuck around, thank you so much. Evan, what do you got to say to the haters?
I just want to give a quick shout out to the haters. You guys are my motivators with an 8.